Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Don't Stifle Me podcast. My name is Jacob Stee-full, and here on the podcast, I get to sit down with guests from all across the music and arts world. We talk about the ups and downs of life, the battle of trying to turn a passion into your career, and the wonderful and terrible things that can happen along the way, and whatever else we choose to talk about. And before we get into it, though, I do want to mention a few things. First off, I am a singer and songwriter myself, and if you'd like to check my music out, well, I have 3 CDs that are all on iTunes and Spotify and all that, and it's all under Jacob Stifle, and you can check out jacobstiefel.com for more info on that. Secondly, if or when you plan on buying something from Amazon, then you'd be helping the podcast out a ton if you would first jump over to don'tstifleme.com and click the Amazon banner that's right there on the homepage. It says Shop, Connect, Enjoy, and you can't miss it. It's right there. You'll pay the same price when you go to Amazon. It'll just send you right to Amazon.com, and you'll pay the same price, but the podcast will get a small percentage kickback from Amazon, a commission for sending you their way. So it's no different for you, but it helps us out. So it's a win-win. Lastly, if you would like some behind the scenes pictures and video and MP3 access and all kinds of things that go on here from the podcast, then you can go check out patreon.com/DSM podcast. Over there, you can pledge $3 a month, $5 a month, $1, whatever you want to do. And at different tiers, you get different perks like pictures or videos or MP3 downloads that I'll post from time to time. But once again, if you want to check that out, it's patreon.com/DSM podcast. So feel free to jump over there. Okay, that's it. I'm done. On today's episode, and I'm not just saying this, she's one of my favorite singers in the whole wide world. Jen Friend came here to the studio and sat down and talked. Jen does studio work as far as singing. She sings at some of the bars here in downtown Nashville. She also has been touring and singing backup for the artist Tiffany for several years. And we talk about all that and much, much more. She's a beautiful person, and I just really enjoyed sitting and talking with her. So here is my conversation with the great Jen Friend.
Pick it up again.
Cool. So you're good? You can hear?
Yeah.
Your hair is awesome. It's always awesome. You have great hair.
Thanks. I was worried it totally did the whole process of like going through the full wash yesterday. And I was like, cleaning the liver, probably need to clean out the hair. And so like I just scrubbed it down and then I just covered and smothered it in deep conditioner.
Do you leave conditioner in your hair? Or do you?
I do. I
do.
I
I just learned of this the other day. I know there is leave-in conditioner, but my buddy Johnny Hayes, do you know Johnny? Mm-hmm. The singer who's on The Voice? He was telling me, we were talking about hair the other day, you know, as rock and roll guys do. And
most men do.
Right. But he was telling me that he, like myself, he washes his hair like maybe once a week or so, washing wise. But he said every time he gets in the shower, he puts conditioner in it and doesn't rinse it out. And then he just gets out and dries it off with the conditioner in it. I was like, I've never heard of such. But he has fantastic hair. So maybe I should, and you do too, so maybe I should start doing this.
Well, I'll be honest with you. So washing my hair is so coarse and so dry. Yeah. Washing my hair more than, roughly once a week or whatever, depending on the funk level of the weekend.
Right. Oh, yeah. The physical exertion definitely goes into the equation.
Can't walk around with funky hair. But, I just, my friend introduced me to this very large and cheap conditioner that is amazing. And I stopped using gel. So, not having gel on your hair was not drying it out as bad. And
gotcha.
Yeah.
Do me a favor and scoot your chair toward the microwave.
Is that better?
Microwave. Oh, it's beautiful. That's great. Yeah.
I'm always nervous I'm going to be so loud.
No, that's good. That's great.
Have you seen me on stage? I mean, I just scream from the other side of the room and the mic picks it up.
Yeah, and everybody melts in their seats because it's so awesome. Welcome, my friend, Jen Friend.
Hello.
When people stop you on the street all the time and say, "Hey, aren't you Jen Friend?" and you say, "Yes, I am," and they say, "I've heard all about you. What do you do?" And what do you tell them? What do you do for a living?
Oh, geez, bomb question, right out of the gate.
Right out of the gate, bam. I like to get that out there because, I have steel guitar players on, and I have writers, and I have merchandise people and artists and everything. So I like just right off the bat, I like people to know who they're listening to. So you are Jen Friend.
Okay. Today, sure. That works. What do I tell them? I don't know. Okay, hi, I'm Jen. I like to sing.
That's good.
Sadly, that's all I can say.
Yeah.
Like, I wish I had, better words to describe who I'm supposed to be, but...
Yeah. You're a singer. I mean, it's all right to say. I'm Jen Friend, and I enjoy singing songs.
I do.
And people pay me to do it.
I do. When I was a kid, they say, what do you want to be when you grow up?
Right.
And I was just like, I want to be a singer. And they're like, oh, you want to be a famous singer? I want to be a singer.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Like if I'm not singing, I just kind of want to be out in the country somewhere and kind of live that quiet life.
Have you been singing forever? Like since you're a little kid? Or when did you start?
So I used to get in trouble in school because I couldn't sit still.
Yeah.
And I would sing and dance in school, during class, and it was disruptive.
I could see that being true, yeah.
And so my mom was like, oh, well, we should put her in a song and dance group. Let's put her in dance class. Let's give her piano lessons. And I was like, well, none of this is a whole lot of fun.
Yeah.
But I'm enjoying it. It's just, I'd like to have some more fun. So somehow, some way, so I was doing all that by the time I was 6 or 7. And then by the time I was 8 or 9, I was jumping on stage and singing with bands and stuff.
Wow.
Yeah. My mom has this.
Where does an 8 or 9-year-old jump on stage and sing with bands? What kind of places were you in?
Back in my day, they called it jamborees.
Okay.
And festivals and operas and stuff like that.
Don't be talking like you're old. You're not old.
I'm getting there, man.
We're all getting there. Hopefully one day.
Next week, it's going to hurt really bad.
Nah. Where'd you grow up?
Okay, so I grew up in a very, very tiny town in Louisiana.
Oh, okay. What part of the state?
Oh, yeah, you probably want to know that.
I'm just curious. I like to know things.
Where I grew up was called Keachai.
Okay.
It's right outside of Shreveport.
Oh, okay. Very
but
cool.
It's right on that Texas line.
Mm-hmm.
So Cajuns call me Yankee.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Anything north of Baton Rouge.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've heard a lot of Cajun people that say that, oh, yeah, anything north of Baton Rouge, Yankee.
Exactly. But yeah, no, so that was home of the Louisiana Hayride, which was kind of parallel with the Grand Ole Opry back in the day.
Right.
And, believe it or not, I played with a bluegrass band and, got to do some really awesome performances on the same stage. And
yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty cool. When, so did you sing, so you started jumping on stage and doing that at 9 or 10. When did you start performing as part of the, were you part of the show or was that just okay, very cool.
Yeah, I think I was 9 when I did my first Jamboree and it was called the Keithville Jamboree. and that was.
Were you Jen Friend part of the thing or were you singing backup for somebody or what were you?
No, when you did a Jamboree or an Opry or whatever, which there's a whole circuit.
Yeah.
Throughout Louisiana and Texas and Oklahoma, and there's all these little jamborees in these tiny little towns.
Okay.
And no, they have a lineup of 10 to 12, people of all different ages, and it's set up just like a show. And sometimes it's broadcast, throughout the small town or whatever. But
yeah.
No, you get up and you have like a rehearsal. You go through your song, and you usually pick a song that the band is semi-familiar with.
Right.
You have a rehearsal that day, that night, usually a Saturday. You look on the board where your name pops up, and you get up, you sing your 2 songs.
Yeah.
They have a little intermission. You get back up.
Very similar to the Opry or whatever.
Exactly, yeah.
I gotcha. Did you get paid for these things?
No.
Oh. Well, you were just doing it for the fun of it.
Yeah, but, it kind of became a thing where, my parents and I would jump in the car and travel, X amount of miles to get to whatever town every weekend.
Yeah.
And
Your
then,
only child?
Yeah.
Yeah. I love the way you answered that. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know how we would have done it if we'd had multiple kids running around. Yeah, I probably would have been like, okay, now you dance like this and you dance like that.
And I'm going to be in the middle singing.
Pretty much.
Did you keep doing like that same kind of thing like through high school? And everything? Yeah. It just got escalated from there. What'd you do after high school?
After high school, I actually moved here.
Okay. So did you, high school there in that same town around Shreveport?
I went to Graywood Christian Academy or Graywood Christian School. And then, I came here when I was about 14 or 15, did some demo work and, worked the booth with Charlie for Fanfare back when it was called Fanfare.
Right. For Charlie.
Charlie Daniels.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. But the first time I was here, like
you said that like he's your best friend or something. Do you know Charlie Daniels?
Well? If I saw him and he saw me, we'd be like, "Hey, what's up?" But no, I don't like call him on Sundays and be like, "Happy Sunday, Charlie. How's it going?"
Did you like sing with him or something?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. It was a whole lot of fun. That was in high school. In fact, he we almost didn't have. I graduated from a really, really teeny tiny school.
Yeah.
100 students K through 12. Our graduating class was like 24.
Okay.
4 girls. So it was awesome going to prom. But I was editor of the yearbook, and we almost didn't have a yearbook because it was so small. We didn't have we were spending more money getting ads for the yearbook than we had of actual pages of students. So, but Charlie was really awesome. I should have brought that if I thought about it.
Yeah.
So he bought all these pages out of our yearbook, and like.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
So how did you meet him? I want to hear that. How'd that happen?
Okay, so I guess I was about 13 maybe, and my mom, she was awesome. Manager mom.
Oh yeah.
She kept hounding Charlie's fan club manager. Her name was Ginger. She's probably one of the sweetest people that I know. And
what years was this? What era?
Oh, and then you're gonna make me actually tell my age.
Come
Jeez.
on. Make people do the math anyway.
94.
Okay.
93. So my mom just started like sending my bio, because back then EPKs were not a thing.
Oh yeah.
It was more, you send the big packet in the mail, and my cassette tape, and and she just kept sending that stuff out to people. And Ginger one day like just called back and was like, "Hey, so I got this in the mail," and she got to talking to my mom, and one thing led to another. Next thing I know, they're buddies, and I'm coming up to Nashville. I'd already been once and did some demo work and stuff, and it was like, I think everybody has that aha moment.
Yeah.
Like if you're a musician and you come to Nashville and you decide this is where you want to be, you have that oh.
Yeah, you see the musicians doing it, and you're like, you can do this.
Yeah.
People do this. Okay.
My moment was outside this little teeny tiny studio off of Music Row. And I'm like, I just got done. I'm exhausted. I've sung my songs, and yeah, we got, paid a little demo money for that. And,
yeah.
And then I walk outside and, the light hits you. The sun starts beating down on you after you've been in the studio for several hours, and you're like,
it's shocking, yeah.
It's melting me. And I looked and I was like, this is amazing. This just confirms. I love the way this smells. I love the way this feels. I love, everything about this place, and I want to come back. And the second time I had that moment was I was with Ginger, and that was maybe a year or two later. And we were heading up to the Wild Horse Saloon, and I was at the garage above Sbarro.
Okay, yeah.
And I'm looking out over 2nd Avenue, and it was just amazing. I just started singing at the top of my lungs. I'm like, nobody's going to know where this is coming from because... Yeah. So I'm singing down to 2nd Avenue at the top of my lungs out of this parking garage. And it was just another aha moment. And then we went to the Wild Horse Saloon and got ready for Charlie's booth. And
very cool.
Yeah, it was pretty awesome.
So after that, were you did you tour with him? Or did you...
Sorry, please edit that part out. I don't like coughing on a mic.
Oh.
So he would come through on tour. He did, what tour was it? I keep, in my mind, I'm like, it's the Undies tour. So I think it was the Fruit of a Loom tour.
Okay.
Possibly. I could be completely wrong, but for whatever reason.
That was the name of his tour?
This big, huge tour that he did with, it was him and Travis Tritt and Jody Messina. And maybe somebody else.
So he would come through town and you would...
Yeah, he'd come through town, or I'd travel, 4 or 5 hours and go meet him out in Texas somewhere. And we'd hang out, and then I'd get up and I'd sing something. And
lead on something or sing?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. That's awesome. You're saying this like I knew this was a thing. I didn't know you sang fucking sang with Charlie Daniels.
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't it wasn't his backup vocalist or anything. I just was just some kid he just took pity on, was like, come on, I know you want to. But he had me sing How Great Thou Art with him. And it has a lot of verses.
I can't remember. It does have a lot of verses. Yeah, I sang it all growing up. I was trying to think of, oh my God. Yeah. That was a common one at the Methodist church I grew up in.
Right? There you go. So I was so nervous to sing this song because it was the first duet. Usually I'd get up and I'd sing Johnny Be Good.
Yeah, with the band.
Yeah. But I was so nervous to get up and sing this song. I wrote cues for the verses on my hand. The
first couple words of each verse. Yeah.
So I have a mic in one hand, and back then I had, I don't move the same as I did when I was a kid. Back then everything was plotted and planned.
Right.
The one hand that extends out at the right moment.
Much more feeling now when you perform. Yeah.
Yeah. So I've got my mic in my right hand, and my left hand is pretty much just stays extended in front of me.
So you can look at your keys.
Yeah. I'm freaking out, thinking I'm going to forget these lyrics. I'm like, oh my God, that's the worst thing you want to do. Thanks, Charlie, for letting me sing.
You look like an old choir director with doing your hand like that. Yeah.
Yeah. But I will tell you, it's a really disgusting, but yet really funny story. So, I'm hanging out with Charlie, and he was like, well, get up and sing one. I was like, okay, cool. So he gets up, and he introduces me, and he hands me the mic, and I'm excited because it's a wireless mic, and man, that means that I can just take off. And I start singing Johnny Be Good, and I'm into it. And, one of the first things that, I don't do this now, but one of the first things that I was taught was to eat the mic.
Okay.
You shove that mic in your face so everybody can hear you.
Okay.
And, that's exactly what I did. And I found out real quick, Charlie likes to chew big red bubble gum on stage.
Was it on the mic?
It was like...
Or just smelled like...
It just smelled and eventually tasted a lot like Big Red chewing gum. I was like, this is awful. And I'm in the middle of singing and I still have to keep this smile and keep rocking out even though my brain's going, Big Red, Big Red, Big Red, Big Red.
That advice greatly depends on the gain levels of the microphone also.
Exactly.
It can't just be a blanket statement. Like,
right?
People listening, don't always shove the microphone right into your mouth. It depends on how hot and how much it's turned up.
It's always good to checkity one, checkity two.
Yeah. It is interesting though to watch people that don't, because it's second nature to you and me that have used microphones for years and years and years. Mm-hmm. But it's interesting to watch people that don't ever use a microphone, like when they have to get up and say a speech at a reception or something like that. They're like holding it feedback. At their waist. They're either like right up in it or they're holding it at their waistline. It's like, what are you doing? Can't you just hold it like you're talking into a phone? It's like you would hold a cell phone.
I just went to my goddaughter's graduation, and yes, it's a microphone. Like you have to like work with it a little bit.
Listen while you're talking, and you can hear. Okay, it probably should be about right there. I don't know. Whatever. After high school, you said you moved here?
I sure did. High
school? You just like, at what point did you know, like, I guess probably those times that you visited here and you had that feeling, did you know at that point, all right, when I get through high school, I'm
yeah. I was a determined little thing. I went home, I started babysitting and stockpiling my money. And my mom would actually, when you're a kid, your parents give you like a little bit of cash to, go to the skating rink or whatever. Well, I just wouldn't get a soda.
Yeah.
Just stuff it in my pocket and walk back home, put it in my little piggy bank. And I've had so many jobs. What
was the worst job you've ever had?
I worked at Dennys for 30 minutes.
30 minutes?
Yeah. I worked at Pizza Hut for 30 minutes too.
What happens? Like you get the job, you start the first day and you're like, nope, fuck this, I'm out.
Yep. Pretty much. With Dennys, it was like this weird, creepy guy, I don't even know how to explain it. It was this weird, creepy guy, and he pinned me up against the ice cream cooler, and I was like...
Oh, no.
I was like, what? Oh, no, that's new. No, you're my manager? Nope. Apron off. I was like, bye.
Wow. That guy could get sued now.
Yeah.
Hashtag me too that.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. What's the best job you've ever had other than singing, of course?
So the way I was raised, my parents were like, you need to be realistic. We love that you love singing and we know that you're working your tail off to move up to Nashville and that's great and all, but you need a plan B. So they pushed college on me and stuff like that. And I at least put it in the back of my brain that I needed a plan B, even if I didn't, survive college or whatever.
Right.
I needed a plan B. So best job, hands down, I worked in retirement centers for several years. And I've been a tech. I've been a dietary aide. And my favorite position was activities director.
In a retirement center?
Yeah.
Is that like a senior living center kind of thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
All the way from, just people who just need a little bit of assistance, but...
All the way up to...
Yeah.
Yeah.
All the way up to continuing care and
Very cool. Yeah, it's... I remember going to see great-grandparents in in some of those places, like nursing home type places.
I used to sing in nursing homes.
Yeah.
It scared the hell out of me.
It's
I was little though.
It's weird, especially once you get older and you start realizing that we're all headed in that direction.
Yeah.
In some way or another. Who knows if it'll end there or better or worse, but just kind of like you're seeing your own mortality as you walk down the halls and see these people. It's like,
yeah.
Wow, they were my age.
But they have so many great stories
for
and
sure.
so many life lessons and so many just like little nuggets of awesomeness that they just, they're just spitting out randomly, and they could totally be with it or totally be gone and still be spitting out those amazing nuggets of little things in life that just kind of get you by.
That's when they like can remember something that happened in 1942, but don't recognize their son when their son walks in or something crazy like that. The mind is so weird. It's like I sat down and did a podcast with my grandma on her 90th birthday, and like she's still super healthy. Goes for walks in the mornings, drives herself around San Antonio, just like super amazingly in great shape. She just took a trip to Greece and Paris and Stockholm with my uncle and his wife, my 90-year-old grandma, and her 87-year-old sister. Just went on this trip, and they like climbed the stairs up to the Parthenon and like did all these like crazy things. But we sat down and did a podcast, and she can just remember where she was like when Pearl Harbor happened, and like talking about going to college in the 40s and having to wear like long coats so nobody can see their legs when they left the the dorms and this crazy stuff. It's nuts. What are we going to be talking about when we're 90, 85, 90?
Oh my gosh.
Probably we're going to be talking about remembering before the internet. That's what we're going to be talking about.
Are you old enough to remember before the internet?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I remember our first computer we got sometime around 93, 94, 95, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
But it just had like MS-DOS and games. And maybe there was like a Ford driving game, Solitaire, maybe one other thing or something. And then I remember we got dial-up probably late 90s or so.
Yeah. AOL.
Yeah. I remember one time, like, Dad had we had one computer, and then at one point, my sister and I got that hand-me-down, and Dad got a newer computer, and because we knew a guy in town that built them and put them together.
Oh, that's awesome.
I remember being jealous of Dad's newer computer because it had 10 gigs. Had 10 gigs of memory, and mine only had 1 gig on the entire computer. And then that was, somewhere around there is when, like, AOL Instant Messenger and ICQ.
What was your first?
MSN Messenger.
What was your first email address?
Jacob_68fp@hotmail.com.
Really? Hotmail was your first?
Mm-hmm. In 7th grade.
Oh, you were pimping. See, I didn't get an email until late high school.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Big Perm 1980. At AOL.com.
You win. You win. That's great. People, when you're listening right now, when you look at the image, if you don't know Jen, when you look at our picture, you'll see why that's so funny. She has big hair. Yes.
Very, very big hair.
What was it? Big Perm what?
1980.
Okay. Big Perm 1980. I mean, make that needs to be the name of this episode.
Big Perm
episode
1980.
Number 62, Big Perm 1980.
And yes, that is the year I was born. It is out there. We have officially just let the cat out of the bag. No more guessing games. No more math.
It's just numbers.
Oh, they hurt.
It's how you feel in here. It's how you feel on the inside.
Oh, then I should be able to drink like a 20-year-old.
Yeah, right? I feel great except for like the 30 minutes after I wake up.
Oh, yeah.
That first 30 minutes is rough because I have to like stretch and then like bend and make sure my knees and hips and back still work. But then after that, I'm great. I guess that's just part of your 30s, I guess. I don't know.
Oh, my gosh. I realized the other day when I'm at home, I have an old woman walk. When I get out of a chair, I have an old woman walk. Like, I'm like, hey, my hip, it's so sore. What's going on? The arthritis. I'm like, I get up and I like stumble around for a second. I like have to like pop it back in or something.
I consciously have to tell myself to stand up straight. And I think that's part of our generation of people that are on computers all the time and looking down at cell phones all the time is that so many people just like shoulders forward, look down, and I pass and I see my reflection in a mirror in a window or something. I'm hunched over. Damn it, Jacob. Stand up.
I actually had to go to the chiropractor. I had just gotten my cell phone, like a real cell phone, not like the little flip phone where,
right.
Like I got gadgets on it and I was loading apps and stuff, and I had to go to the chiropractor. I was singing "Dreams" by Fleetwood Mac on stage. It's not a stressful song. That's like mellow and laid back. And I pulled a muscle in my neck.
Oh, no.
And the pain shot all the way from underneath my ear, all the way down my neck, down my shoulder, and started going down my arm. And I was like in the middle of singing this song and just tears coming down my face. Ugh. And I'm like, this is so much. And I can't move my head. I can't move this arm. Like, it's just so much pain. And I first and only time somebody's just been like, please leave. Like, I don't, like, this is painful.
Clearly wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we had a little intermission, and we took a break, and I was just like trying to like stretch it out, and they were like, just go. And that was the first time I ever called my dad and was like, so got any pain meds?
I'm in some pain.
And that's not, and definitely that is not my thing. I'm not into that. I'm definitely hurting when I'm going, I need something stronger than some Advil and Tylenol. Yeah. Like, this is not kicking it. So went to the chiropractor, and he scolded me. He scolded me, and he just went on a rant about everybody on their cell phones and how he's got all these people coming in, and they're, like moving,
their neck is moving forward when it should be tilted back. Yeah.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And he's like, all you young people are coming in with these 60-year-old necks. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, 60 years old? Seriously? And he's like, yes, you have the neck of an old woman. And I'm like, well, thanks. Great. So $4,000 later, and a couple of years, I'm like, okay, I see your point. I'll do better.
I went to a chiropractor, and he told me kind of in nicer terms. He told me the same thing. But I don't currently have the funds to go through all that.
Well, yoga's really good for that.
Yeah. So that's what I went for a little bit, got some of the pain relieved, and then got back in the gym. And so as long as I stay active in the gym and doing yoga and getting out and moving, it's amazing how that just kind of helps some of the pain stay away.
If you don't use it, you lose it.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, my dad does that. Yeah. That's my fault. And but it gets him going. Yeah. And he gets on the treadmill and just kind of like goes off.
Spaces out.
Spaces out and like, takes hikes on the treadmill. He's got a big screen TV. He watches his, Discovery or History Channel or whatever, and just walks on the treadmill. And he's like, he feels great.
Yeah, the chiropractor was back talking about that. Like, he was saying, apparently your neck is supposed to lean back, and your head. He compared it to, like if you were going to hold a bowling ball, you wouldn't hold it like straight out. I'm doing visual aids here as I'm talking on the podcast. But he said, imagine like holding a bowling ball, you would want to hold your hand back and bend your wrist back to have better support. The same thing with your neck and your head. Mm-hmm. And so I just try to think about that whenever I'm doing things. I try to stand back and hold my phone up. Instead of down.
But it's hard because eventually you're like, yeah. Well, I will say this. He gave me a little fun packet. One was like these little stretchy cords. Stretchy bands, and which is awesome, but they suck, and I'm very uncoordinated. So I'm not going to say I've hit myself, but I may have hit myself several times. But he gave me what he called a dinner roll, and I was like, ooh.
Maybe a dinner roll. All right.
He's like, no. And I was like, oh, okay. And he shows me this thing, and it's basically it's almost like the size of a small
like
towel,
a foam roller thing.
Yeah. Okay. But it's got this weird. Again, I have no clue how I'm going to explain this, but it's got this weird shape to it.
Yeah.
And you put it behind your neck, and it's foam, but it has literally no give to it.
Right.
And you lay on your back and you put this thing behind your neck, and it basically tilts your head back.
Yeah.
And the first time, and you do it for like 5 minutes, and the next time you do it for like 10 minutes, and then so forth and so on.
Yeah.
And then you get up to like 15 minutes. And the first time I sat there.
So are you lying down on your back?
Yeah.
Like with that
Yeah.
underneath your neck? Okay.
Mm-hmm. And, you just kind of, you just relax. I'm like, this is the best workout ever. But you relax and you put this dinner roll behind your neck.
Why is it called a dinner roll?
I believe it's spelled DENN.
Ah, okay.
But it's the first time I did it, I felt and heard my sinuses pop and break loose. It was the weirdest thing ever. All of a sudden, I could breathe like I hadn't, been breathing in so long.
Wow.
And who knew that all of that,
Oh, yeah. It's all connected. Did it look anything like that foam roller that's over there somewhere? It's sitting on, maybe next to your left. Is it there by the corner of the table? In front of you. By your leg. Is it down there?
No, I'm not saying anything.
Anyway.
You're hallucinating.
No, no, never mind. I see it. It's over there because I was laying in the floor rolling on it the other day. Never mind. I'm not hallucinating. It's in the corner over there.
Oh, I
that
can't
black
see.
thing.
I'm
with
attached.
the T?
Hold on.
Oh, no, it's not a big deal. She's looking, people.
Oh,
it's all right.
Kind of close to that. Yeah.
Similar. Yeah.
Mine. I'll have to send you a picture. Mine has sharp edges on it. It feels like it's intense.
Yeah.
Like it's like a cliff off the back end of it.
Okay,
like your
so
head just like ka-dunk.
When you moved here, have you always had another job, a day job, or, or did you make enough money singing, or how did you make the plunge?
So when I was growing up, I'd only been paid for one show, and that was the Johnny High show in Dallas, Texas. I sang 2 songs. I was so stoked when I got that $50 check.
Yeah.
I was like, woo! We drove all the way from Shreveport all the way to Dallas, Texas for one show, 2 songs. And I got $50. So I didn't know that I could legitimately make money, other than playing bars. And I wasn't old enough to play bars because I was just... when I moved here, I was only 18. I had a birthday shortly after because I moved here in August.
Okay.
And then September hit, and I was like, woohoo, birthday. And I was actually working right off of Printer's Alley. And we didn't make any money except for whatever was in the tip bucket. And, it wasn't a lot.
Yeah, so not much money. So your experience of that had prepared you well for not making much money.
Yeah, so I always had multiple jobs. I think at one point, and I would write, and I would do writers' nights, and I would record in the studio, but I never did a whole lot of live stuff. For 10 years, it was weird not going out and actually performing, because I only stayed downtown, right out of down Printer's Alley, for 2 or 3 years, and then... and then I was like, well, this is not a healthy lifestyle for a young 20-year-old. So,
so that was around the 2000 era or time period
when 2nd Avenue and Graham Central Station were the hopping place to be.
Oh, really?
Yep. Nobody went on Broadway.
Yeah, I knew that. I knew that Broadway was not.
It was scary.
Anything. Yeah. So, okay. So at that time the Wild Horse was there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, isn't it still there?
Yeah. I didn't know when it started. I didn't know when it opened.
I think the Wild Horse been there for a while.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I don't know the history. I don't know. Well, cool. So what'd you do after? I mean, you just worked and did studio stuff?
Yeah. And
like
did writers'
demos
nights
and things for people.
Yeah.
Or cool.
And that was fun. It was good times.
How did you get into that? Did you know people here? I guess from visiting and coming and working.
Yeah, I just kind of met this person and worked for this person, and then somebody else would call me and be like, "Hey, didn't you do that demo? Blah 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 for so and so," and then just one thing would always lead to another. It wasn't until 2010, 2009. that I decided to go full-time musician.
Yeah.
It's like, do or die time. Let's do this. And I went for it.
I would think, and this, I don't know if this is sexist or realistic or whatever, but I would think that...
You're setting this up really nicely, by the way.
I would think that as like a 19, 20, 21-year-old girl, it would be more intimidating to go out and have to, and I don't know, do networking and
it is.
To not know people and to be networking with shady people, because there's a lot of shady ass people in this business.
Yes.
Creepy old men that.
Yes.
You know, I don't know. I would even be worried about that than when I was 22 and long haired and long beard and drunk everywhere I went. I wasn't worried about anybody grabbing me and throwing me in a car, you know, or whatever. You know, I don't know. I just think they would have more things to worry about.
No, you're absolutely right. And I was, I'm a lot more outgoing and brave now than, I think as I get older, I just, you know, develop this not give a shit kind of attitude more and more. 'Cause, you know, I'm more outgoing and friendly than I used to be when I was younger. I was just afraid of everything when I was a kid.
So did you just get to a point where you were like, I'm just going to do this full time? Mm-hmm. Like you were talking about 2009, is that when you said? Mm-hmm. Cool. That was when I moved here. That's when I jumped in the scene.
Yeah.
What did you start with? Like, what did you like?
Well, see what happened was I was working at a retirement center, which, you know, we were talking about that. Prepares you for a lot. And I think if I hadn't had the years working in the retirement center, I wouldn't have been prepared for my mom to pass away.
Oh, yeah.
And when she passed away, I was just like, life is short. She was only 53.
Oh, wow.
I'm like, life is short. Like, it's.
How'd she die, if you don't mind me asking?
Heart attack. Yeah. So, but I had just released this album that I wasn't overly happy with, but you know, it was what everybody was telling me I needed to be doing. Yeah. And so I went and I put this album out, you know, and I'm doing shows and I'm meeting some amazing musicians, but you know, I haven't built up this following. So, you know, I've got this manager that's telling me to do this, and you know, these other people who are telling me to do that.
Yeah, everybody knows what you need to be doing.
Exactly. And, you know, I'm working this full-time job. I'm multitasking all that. And, you know, now I'm dealing with my mom. And, you know, it's been like 2 days and my manager calls me and he's like, well, you got a show tomorrow. And, you know, da-da-da-da. And I'm like, no, I'm sorry, I don't. Yeah. I was like, my mom just passed away. I'm no.
Yeah. And if somebody doesn't understand that, then you get over it.
Basically. And, you know, one thing added up after another. And I finally was just like, okay, you don't know me, and we can't work together. Like this is not going to work. And I just started going out to writers' nights like crazy and just meeting musicians and you know, various people, and I just started hardcore networking and you know, found me a couple of groups of people and just kind of like stuck like glue to them until I was, you know, comfortable talking to the creepy guy in the corner by myself. Yeah. And one thing led to another. Ginger came back around and was like, you should go play at Whiskey Bent for this benefit for so-and-so. And so we went and...
Whiskey Bent Saloon here in Nashville, yeah.
And I believe they had just opened. And so, yeah.
Yeah, they opened like 2010, 2011, somewhere in there.
Yeah. Yeah. So I played down there, and then I've pretty much been playing downtown since, and it's, you know, it's wonderful because it's like touring backwards.
I've never heard anybody explain it that way.
Well, the people come to you.
Yeah, but you
don't have to leave town. It's great because I can still go home and sleep in my own bed. It's like touring for old people.
It's great. It's I did pretty good there for a little while. I was playing like 2010, 11, start of 12. I got to where I was playing like 5, 6, 7 nights a week down there, and was making pretty decent money for a 22, 23-year-old that didn't really have any bills or anything much. But then once I started like recording CD and wanted to go out and get on the road, and I was like, all right, well, yeah, let's tour and make less money. Yeah, sure. And so I did that for several years.
And it's rough. It's rough. So when I'm not out on the road, I like to play downtown.
Yeah.
And it's great. And there's like this, nice little family group of people. And
yeah, people listening, if you're ever in Nashville on a Wednesday night, you should go to Crossroads, right? 6 to 10. Mm-hmm. Friends with benefits. Is that what you still calling it? That?
Yes.
Friend with benefits. Is that what it's?
Friends with benefits.
Yeah.
FWB.
It's always like my favorite. It's my favorite. If I was going to go downtown to see a show, that would be the one that I would go to.
Adam Wakefield calls it no bro on low bro.
Nice. Yeah, I used to play after y'all on Wednesdays at 10, and I would always get there like an hour or two early.
I miss you. Come back.
Well, maybe I will. You never know. Is B-Fry? B-Fry's not there anymore, is he?
No, he's down at yep, he's that other place
somewhere.
that other place that just opened up.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that other bar, that other new bar on Broadway. Well, so you did the downtown thing, but you also have done some touring in the last couple of years, right?
Yep.
Singing backup for who was it?
Tiffany.
Yeah, that's right.
Which is really funny because when I was growing up, I was didn't get to listen to a lot of popular music, but Tiffany and Debbie Gibson and Amy Grant were like my current popular music. Yeah. Again, showing my age.
Embrace it.
But I would sit there and I would sing and pour my heart out and sing these songs. And the first song I ever sang, like in front of, like people, it was at like a little recital for one of my little song and dance groups.
Yeah.
And it was Could Have Been by Tiffany. And here I am, this like little munchkin, and I'm singing about heartbreak. I'm like maybe 6 or 7.
Yeah.
Singing about it could have been so beautiful. It could have been so right.
Yeah.
You could have been my lover. And
it's 7 years old. That's
yeah.
great.
And so when she met me down at Bourbon Street actually, and that's kind of a funny story all in the same because when you see people out and about, I personally get starstruck really easy.
Yeah.
I mean, talking's hard to begin with, but multiply that with.
You've done a fantastic job so far today, so don't fuck it up.
Yeah, right. I woke up this morning. I was like, coffee. I'm gonna need coffee. I'm gonna need lots of coffee.
That's me every morning. I have to do things today. I need coffee.
Right. But yeah, so the first rehearsal that I did with Tiffany, I had to tell her, I'm like, I'm so sorry, I'm gonna fangirl for a second. The first song I ever sang for anybody was Could Have Been. And she was like, oh, that's wonderful. And I'm like, yeah, okay, well, back to work.
Yeah. How did you meet her? How did that come about? You said Bourbon Street?
Yeah, she saw me and Trevor Finley playing at Bourbon Street.
Blues bar here in Nashville.
Yeah.
Printer's Alley.
Yeah.
For those people listening.
And I guess she had already met Trevor, and Trevor was like, hey, Tiffany wants to see you, or, the redhead up the stairs wants to see you. And I was like, okay, cool. And I go up there, and oh my gosh, it's been, at this point, 20 years since I'd had a Tiffany tape in my, cassette player. And I'm not registering anything. Plus, it's Bourbon Street.
It's dark, and you've been,
I've been singing for at least 2 hours at this point. I've got 2 more to go.
Taking part in things. Yeah.
So, and she's like, I would really love to work with you. I'm like, awesome. She was like, I do these shows, and I'd really love to have, a really good female vocalist to do some BGVs and to be able to really just be able to be a powerhouse. And
BGVs are background vocals for those of you listening that don't know. That's the lingo, the in-game lingo here. Okay, proceed. So yeah, I'm like, oh, that's awesome, cool. I'd love to go out on the road with you. Sure, yeah, you're going to that. New York sounds great. Let's do this. Yeah.
And so here we are, we're exchanging numbers in our phone. And I'm giving her my info and I'm putting her in my phone. And I'm like, what's your name? And she's like, Tiffany. And I'm like, cool. Tiffany what? No, just Tiffany. I'm like, okay. And in my mind, I'm thinking, teach their own. And
when did it click?
There's, see, that's the fun part about me. It didn't. So I finished this interaction with this beautiful woman who's been super sweet, who seems like a really cool chick, and I'm excited.
Wants to pay you to come sing background for her.
Yeah, I'm awesome. Living the dream. So I go back downstairs, and we're about to go up back on stage, and Trevor's like, so did you meet Tiffany? And I was like, yeah, she seems really nice. He was like, you know who that is? And I was like, yeah, her name is Tiffany. And he was like, no, the Tiffany. And my face just dropped. I was like, oh my God, I just held a normal conversation with Tiffany. And she does not. It's
probably good that you didn't recognize her, because it was a good, normal, standard conversation. You weren't like.
Well, according to Tiffany, probably about 6 years later, I guess I was a bit of an asshole.
Oh, wow. Because you didn't know. You were like, yeah, this random person.
Well, in my mind, I'm thinking, play it cool. Don't overreact. Don't get too excited about, potential gigs. And because I'll get super excited. Somebody, and I know that, things don't always pan out, but I get really excited over getting to go in the studio or somebody wanting some BGVs or whatever. It's just my nature.
So you have to tell yourself to not get over excited. Yeah.
So I try to be cool.
I bet really when you were like, so what's your name? Tiffany. Tiffany what? No, just Tiffany.
Yep. Yeah. So basically the way she tells the story, and it's just hilarious to me because that's not at all what was in my head, but she got the impression that I was like, yeah, okay. Damn it, no, that's not.
Very dismissing.
Yes. Yeah, and that's not how it was at all. I was just kind of excited and trying not to be overbearing with my, so when do you want to get there? When do you want me to do these BGVs? Yeah. Love your hair. And because I'm a lot to take in. Oh,
but you have you been singing with her since then?
Oh my gosh. Okay, so.
How much have you done with her?
We've gone to Singapore, New York, UK, Italy.
This was multiple years ago?
Oh, yeah. Gosh. This is the first summer that I didn't go out on tour with Tiffany since 2010.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know it was that long of a running thing. Very cool.
Yeah.
I think I played... Did she do... This shows my ignorance on it. Did she do the one that... I think we're alone now. Yeah. I'm pretty sure I played guitar for her at a fundraiser event in Franklin.
I'm pretty sure you did too.
4, 5, 6 years ago or something like that. A long time ago.
Johnny Stanton?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah. Me and Johnny and I want to say Brian Jacobs might have been in on that. I don't remember who played drums. Yeah, because it was like the Ira Dean sang, the guy from Trick Pony.
Yeah.
It was... and then a few other people. Bridget Tatum, I think. Was she there? I don't know. Anyway, so I met Tiffany. I don't really know that much about Tiffany. So I was like, this is cool. I remember hearing this song at some point.
I can't believe. And I know that you're only 7 years younger than me?
Yeah. 6, 7, something like that. 7. Yeah.
I did my research before this interview.
Look at you.
So I can't believe that you grew up in the 80s and you, as a man, and have not seen the Playboy edition. That
seems
seems
I'm
to
be Googling it later.
That seems to be the one thing most guys are like.
I'll tell you what I know Tiffany from, actually. I'm pretty sure she was on an episode of Saved by the Bell. Uh-huh. That's the only reason I think I would know who Tiffany
She also did the voice, what's the daughter's name of the Jetsons?
Ooh, I can't remember.
The Jetsons movie, she did that voice. The teenage
movie.
daughter.
Oh, okay.
It's not Judy.
That's the mom, right?
I think so.
I don't remember.
My phone's too far away. I would Google it.
I was only like 2 or 3 in the 80s. I was born in 87. I was really a 90s kid for the most part of my memories. She's looking at me strangely right now. Contempt. I recognize contempt.
Okay, so I'm not gonna lie. I attempted the 80s, and I literally checked out until the 90s. Like, the 80s were not my thing. I had the big hair, which was awesome, but no color coordination whatsoever. And ripped jeans were not really looking good on me because Mom didn't like it when I ripped my jeans. And she also used to buy me really, really tall jeans. Like, I wore the kind of jeans that I could pull up to my armpits.
Yeah.
And those just don't look cute when you rip them up. Like, that's just not... I was just such a, like, I don't know, like a
stylistically.
Yeah, I was
unsure.
challenged, seriously challenged. Like, I wore a lot of different colors at the same time that should never be.
That sounds like the 90s.
Yeah, it was weird.
Yeah.
I was a weird dresser when I was a kid.
I remember in the early 90s, we had the windbreaker suits that were like purple, gold, and green, like zipped up some part, like part of the bottom of the leg, so you can get them over your shoes and then zip them back tight, you know. But they had to match.
Yeah, I think I was going through my cowgirl stage at this point.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's I actually was very much a redneck growing up. We grew up on 32 acres, about 40 miles from the nearest stoplight.
Wow.
Yeah. It was like a...
Did y'all have animals and stuff on the acreage?
Yeah. We had like 1,000 dogs. No, I'm kidding. I think we had like, at one point, I think we had 12 dogs and 3 cats, 4 or 5 goats. But yeah, unless you're really prepared for what goats bring to the table, like...
My sister and her family have some goats.
Yeah, you can't... Yeah, dogs and wild animals will come from miles around. They just smell goat. They're like, dinner. And
really?
Yeah. So our goats kept getting slaughtered. Yeah, it was bad. There was only one goat, and he was mean as hell. He was the last one to survive. Like, he just... Yeah, it was really sad. I had a goat
when I was a child that my sister and I got it at a flea market. And its name was Flip because it could do a standing backflip.
Oh, that's awesome.
I don't know why evolution decided that this goat needed to be able to do a backflip, but it could, and we fed it.
Ta-da!
So maybe that's got something. I don't know. We were talking about this earlier before we started recording, but tell about getting robbed or whatever. Jen got robbed. Was it at gunpoint?
Yeah.
That's crazy. I remember you posted something on Facebook like that, or like right after it happened.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh.
Well, I wanted people to know because I couldn't. I was struggling to like tell people that, you know, hey, I'm not going to be at the gig tonight. I don't have a ride and I don't have a phone.
And somebody pointed a gun at me.
Yeah.
I'm still not quite sure of myself mentally.
Oh, yeah. As soon as the cops left and I gave my report, I just broke down and drank everything in the house.
Ugh.
Like, I was a hot mess. I just cried at the kitchen table. I was like, this.
Well, what happened? Like, if you don't mind going through it.
Well, so I'm going to back up because I'm a girl and I can't just give you a straight answer. I have to tell you everything that happened that day. So I had been packing the car full of all the some old clothes and junk and stuff that I was going to take to Goodwill.
Yeah.
So I had like 5 huge totes full of my dad's clothes. My dad's like 6'3", wears like 13 double E size shoe.
Yeah.
Like 54 waist, or I don't know, big guy.
Yeah.
And he's lost a bunch of weight. So here's all these clothes and orthopedic shoes that need to go to somebody else.
Yeah.
So my car is stuffed and packed and loaded. It's about 9:55
p.m.
Yes.
Okay.
I grab my backpack. I lock my door. I see this kid walk down the street. I don't think anything of it because there's kids all over my neighborhood.
Yeah. Are you in a house?
Yes.
Cool.
So I hear him holler out to his buddies who are, you know, a little further back and walking as well. And he says something like, "Come on, cuz." And I just don't think anything of it.
Yeah.
I get in my car. I'm letting it warm up because my daddy taught me that you don't get into the car and just go. You warm it up a little bit. Yeah. And so I'm like, okay. So I let this warm up. I do not warm up my car anymore. I'm like, no, I'm good.
So much for that, yeah.
You can warm up on the way.
Going. Yeah.
So I'm sitting there and, you know, I'm finding the perfect radio station, whatever, while I let my car warm up.
Yeah.
And I get this tap on my window, scares the shit out of me. And, you know, I'm like an old lady, grabbing my heart going, "Ah, ah." And there's this kid standing there, and he couldn't be more than like 15 or 16. And I cracked my window just a little bit because, you know, I'm trying to be smart.
Yeah.
And he was like, "I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to scare you, ma'am. I just wondered if I could borrow your cell phone so I could call my mom." He was like,
"Oh my gosh.
We got stranded out here." He was like, "And I just need to ride back, and I just need to call my mom." And he's got this little kid who looked probably about 14. And I'm like, "Yeah, sure, baby, here you go. It's cold. It's January."
Yeah.
And, you know, so I give him my phone, and I still haven't rolled the window down all the way.
Yeah.
When I give him my phone, I'm like, "Sure, that's replaceable. Take that."
Yeah.
And, you know, he sat there for a second, and it was really funny because at the time, when I get in my car, my Bluetooth automatically hooks up.
Yeah.
So when he started dialing his mom, it came through my speakers.
Oh, yeah?
I was like, "Oh, I'm so sorry." And I like hit the buttons, and then I hand the phone back to him, turn off my Bluetooth so he can,
Right.
you know. And next thing I know.
So he can theoretically call his mom.
Yeah, next thing I know, the little kid pulls a gun and.
Wow.
There's
two of them?
Yeah.
Wow.
And they were tiny. They were little. Like it.
What do they say? "Oh, now we'll be taking your car. Get out."
I mean.
Or anything? I mean, I don't like, what like.
Wow, so.
You don't have to say verbatim what he said. I don't know. But.
I mean, I don't know. Can I cuss on this show?
Yeah, you can say, yeah.
Basically, he said, "Get the fuck out of the car. I'm going to fucking shoot you." And I'm like, "Oh, this kid's got a potty mouth."
Oh, no.
I'm like, "What does your mom think about this?" I'm like, "Give me the phone. Let me talk to your mother right now." So, you know, he just cussed at me, and I froze. I'm like, and I said, "Are you kidding me?" Because I'm like, "I just gave you my phone." And then I'm like, "Oh, you dumbass, you just gave him your phone." And it's all like starting to click. And I'm like,
Yeah.
Hey. Do you know Puss in Boots from
The
Shrek?
Character? Yes.
Yeah. So when the cops got there, they asked me, "What did the kid look like?" And you know, when Puss in Boots like gets on that little innocent face and he's like wringing his head and he's like,
Yeah.
Bat in his eyes.
Yeah.
I was like, "That's the best description I can give you." I was like, I just pulled up, you know, like Google searched the image and I'm like, this is what he looked like exactly to a T. He batted his eyes and, you know, I felt sorry for him.
So did they give you your phone back and take the car?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, they took it all. They took my bag, my backpack for downtown that had, you know, my microphone and all my business cards and everything in it. Took my car, took all 5 totes going to Goodwill, and took off with my phone. My house was locked up, so I couldn't get into my house. I had to go to a neighbor's house. And so they did have to push me out of the way because I did freeze for a little bit. And I did stare at the gun like, is this kid really going to shoot me? And I looked him dead in the eye. I'm like, and I just kind of stood there because I'm like weighing out all my options. And I know it was only for a second, but it felt like
I'm
ever.
sure, yeah.
And which, yes, they did finally just like knock me out of the way because I just kind of froze there like, can I take them? This is 2 kids.
Yeah.
I'm a grown woman.
Is this like kid really going to shoot some? I don't know.
But then I'm thinking, okay, we got a third dude who I already knew that he was a little bit older. Like he had to probably be about 17, but he had already like, I knew there was a third guy, and I'm like, just let's not do this. So, but the funny part about it was, okay, I can laugh about it now. I wasn't laughing then.
Right.
They had to stop up the street to pick up the other guy, but I had so many totes and so much stuff in my car that they couldn't fit everybody in my car, and they were like, they literally had to stop and like start unpacking my car so we could get in the getaway vehicle.
But didn't they find it or find a bunch of your stuff like next door? Or
no. Okay, so
no, it was Tyler Powers' apartment or whatever.
Yeah. So I live in East Nashville, and they found some more totes and clothes and my backpack, which one of the girls from the apartment complex found the backpack and called me. But that was like 20, 30 minutes away from my house.
Hermitage, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then they found my car a few days later. Well, it had been dumped, and it was just like 2 streets over from my house. And I've seen the kids since then.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Did the cops do anything?
Mm-mm.
You've seen the kids?
Mm-hmm.
This is baffling me.
There are...
Can you not go to a police person and say,
I did.
Those kids there.
I called my detective.
Yeah. I've seen them.
Yeah, I said, the kids who robbed me just walked by. And he was like, okay. And I said, I know exactly what house they're in right now. And he was like, are you sure it's them? And I was just like, I'm positive. I was like, I've seen probably 50 kids in this neighborhood since that happened.
Yeah.
I was like, I will not forget that baby face, that cute, sweet, adorable, just a cute face. I just wanted to squeeze him. I just wanted to quite honestly, if the guy had been legitimately calling his mom, I was about to offer them a ride and just call, be like, I'll take you wherever you got to go, kid. Just, please don't be out on the street at 10 o'clock. It's not safe. That's exactly what was
dangerous people out there.
Yeah. Yep. So I saw them walk by. This was like months later.
Yeah.
Like probably about 2 months later. And my friend was there, and she saw me freeze. And the only reason why I know it was them, like for sure, like 110% is I'm never going to forget, this.
Somebody pulling a gun on you. Yeah.
Yeah. This face. Cause I made sure that I looked him dead in the eye.
Right.
And the chill that I got. Yeah. I relived that moment. I was like, and it just pissed me off that, I did relive that moment. I'm like, no, I put that behind me. Like, seeing you again, I should.
Right. So what did the detective say?
He said he could send extra patrol out, but that was about all he could do. They're underage. There's not a whole lot you can do.
I don't get that. How is there not a whole lot you can do? Can you not take them into custody and I don't know, send them to juvenile something or other?
I have my own growing up in Louisiana, you grow up with a lot of kids that do a lot of stupid shit.
Yeah.
And I don't think sending kids to juvie is the answer.
I don't know that it is either. I just would think that there would be something you could do to keep this child from pulling a gun on somebody else.
Exactly. I talked to a bunch of people, and I'm like, how can if we find these kids, how can I, make sure that, that they don't go to juvie, but they have to, go spend time out at the farm somewhere taking care of animals or, rehabilitating, caring for something else and showing, love and affection and nurture and understand hard work and all this. Like, how can we, make that happen rather than...
For sure.
Rather than just sending them into, 6 months of juvenile...
Being around other rough kids.
Learning how to do it better.
Right, for sure.
So
any ideas on that? on how to do that?
I mean, I talked to the detective, and basically, until the system changes, there's not a whole lot that they can do about these kids robbing people at gunpoint.
Man.
And I'll tell you this.
It's just so unfortunate.
It is, because, I mean, I have got children their age, and like, I don't want to look at, teenagers and kids and be like, I don't know if I can trust them. Are they going to rob me? Or and that's just scary. They're kids. They know right from wrong. I realize that, but they're just kids, and they're already going down this path, and it breaks my heart. It breaks my heart.
Let's change the subject. This is depressing.
Right, man? Like, that's why.
Sorry I brought this up.
That's what I told you. Like, the night it happened, after everybody left, I just, like, exhaustedly just drank half a bottle of, like, bourbon.
So did insurance or, like, anything help?
Yeah, insurance was great. My insurance company was amazing. And, yes, they did, like, $7,000 worth of damage to the car. It was funny when I went to go pick up my car, this poor brand new car. I like busted my ass to find this car and this deal, and I was so proud of this. And I go to pick it up at the impound lot, and it's just sad. And I tell you, again, now I look back on it and it's really funny. But so I turn on my car, and she's like limping out of the parking lot. I'm like, oh, poor baby. And I'm like, let's turn on the radio, roll the windows down. And so I turn on the radio, not my station. I was pissed. I was like, I can't believe they touched my radio. And then I noticed that they had obviously been smoking weed in my car, but they had gutted like a cigar. Yeah. I was so pissed. Again, I look at it now and I'm like,
just dump the insides in.
Yes, right in my floorboard. I was like, oh, how rude.
So I guess they just took it for a joyride for a day or two, and then just.
I have my own theories. I'm pretty sure that they robbed somebody else in the process. Because when I got the car back, there was so much stuff in there that did not belong to me. Ah, okay. And stuff that was worthless. Yeah. But I got robbed again.
What? In your neighborhood?
Right in my driveway, all over again.
Oh no!
I wasn't out there for that one though. But they were nice about it. They didn't break anything. Yeah. They just rummaged through the car. Didn't want my change. Sorry, my change isn't good enough. But they did take my USB cord. So hopefully they're well charged and listening.
Man, people, come on, people.
Yeah. But I was like, whatever. Yeah.
I'm thinking about, I don't know if I want to even lock my doors anymore. I was in DC about a year ago now, and in a parking garage that like 6 cars got broken into, and mine was one of them, and they busted out the window and pulled all my stuff out of the car. Yeah. Broke open like my merch suitcase, didn't take anything out of it, just broke it open. Broke open my harmonica case, didn't take any of the harmonicas, just broke it open. Opened my guitar case, didn't take the guitar, left it. Didn't take any of the gear, anything, took a couple of jackets and a knife. Yeah. But it would have been much less of a hassle if I would have just had the door unlocked. Right. And they wouldn't have broken the window. They would have just like rummaged through the car and then left it.
So a long time ago, so not only have I had a shit ton of jobs, but I've lived in a lot of places. Okay. I knew that I loved Nashville, but I wanted to find out.
Like in the Nashville area?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I lived in Franklin. I've lived in Antioch and East Nashville. I mean, like the list goes on and on. So I've lived in all these places that I'm just trying to find out, what bubble I want to be in.
That's important. Yeah.
And the Antioch bubble was probably, I lived off of Bell and 24. Okay. And at Cedar Point. Mm-hmm. And I got, first month being there, I got broken into 3 times.
I know of at least 1 or 2 shootings that went on there. I used to live not far from there. Yeah. It's a rough part of town. Like you went from, when you were saying areas, you went from Franklin to Antioch. I was like, well, that's the 2 total ends of the socioeconomic
well, in order to be able to afford living in Franklin, I had to have like 6 roommates, and yeah, we were kind of all piled up in bunk beds.
Oh man.
And it wasn't that bad. It was a lot of fun. I've been here almost 20 years.
Wow. Yeah,
Next year will be 20 years.
Next year will be 10 for me. It's crazy. A third of my life.
So speaking of 20 years, so this is really random.
Okay.
So I have a dog and she's turning 18 this year.
Wow.
Yeah. So I've decided when I hit the big 4-0, she'll be like the big 2-0.
Yeah.
So I'm going to have like this big dual
birthday party for you and your dog.
This puppy friendly birthday party.
Fantastic.
I'm excited. It's going to be a blast.
Send me an invitation.
I think quite honestly, I'm going to do it at like a dog park or somewhere.
Yeah.
And just put like an open invitation on Facebook. Just be like, come on out. Let's party. Bring your puppy.
You heard it here, folks. The invitations are open. But you have to stay in contact for the next 2 years.
Yeah.
Or whatever, however many. 2, yeah.
My friends are teasing me. They're like, I love that you're planning your 40th 2 years in advance. And I'm like, hey, who knows what I'm going to forget between now and then.
Yeah. Trying to think ahead. Be on top of it. Well, what's new with you? What's coming up? You still playing downtown? Are you recording anything? You got what's up?
Yeah, so well, currently I do a lot of stuff downtown when I'm not on tour. Mm-hmm. Or on the road with whoever.
You singing with any other artists? Like on the road?
Not right now, not currently.
Yeah.
But I'm still doing a lot of studio work, and I do demo work, and then I sing backup vocals and stuff.
Yeah. I've seen you in the process of those things, and it's magical to watch. Jen actually came in and did background on We Bleed Crimson song that I recorded. That was awesome watching you do that. And you're like, I've got some. She comes in all timid. She's like, I listened to it. I've kind of got some ideas, and then you go and just like knock the fuck out of it. Just like that part you did during the solo, the like build up or whatever. Still gives me goosebumps. I want to go listen to it right now. So yeah, if you're listening and you would like any kind of female vocal on something, you should contact Jen Friend.
Pick me.
Yeah.
I always get nervous because I'm like, okay, so do I like give it all? Like I always like a little bit of direction.
Yeah.
Like, where do you want to go with this? Like, what do you want? Because we can like go all out and do some crazy stuff, or we can like or we can keep it plain and simple and just good solid harmonies. So I'm always like, how far do I go? So I like when people give me like that one like track where they're like, okay, well, we're just gonna copy and paste you. So just go nuts. You don't even have to think about who's singing where. We just want you to whoa all over it.
Huh.
So they give me one full pass at it, and I'm just like,
just go crazy, and they can put it kind of wherever they want.
Yeah, that's my favorite, because then I can mess up and do bloopers, and sometimes really cool stuff comes out of it, and sometimes I'm like, no, can we start that again, please?
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie, I'm pretty excited to record again at some point in the near future. Just one of the reasons being that I want you to come sing on it.
Yes,
I think it'll be great.
I am making plans. I've been writing a lot. And I don't know about you, but sometimes it's almost like I'm doing too much of all this other stuff, and my mind just doesn't focus in on being creative.
Creating, yeah, for sure.
And then when I finally do like pop out something, I'm like, well, I would never sing that. I mean, like maybe somebody else would, but that's definitely not my style. So I've been working hard at trying to just produce and, be productive and produce something that's, tangible for me and the direction that I am trying to
I go through phases of, I might not write anything for like 3 or 4 months. And then I'll write like a handful of songs in 2 weeks. And then not write anything for another couple months. It's like it just kind of wait for it to come. And then when it does, it does. And when it doesn't, it doesn't. Well,
I just recently went through a breakup. It was dating somebody for 6 years, and then we broke up. But it's a good thing. Like, it was well needed. And I finally like sat down and was able to write a little bit about it. And I took it to my friend. I'm like, I have this big pile of mess. If you could just fix it for me, make it pretty and put a bow on it.
There's something here. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I had a chorus and a little hook, and then I had these 2 verses that were a little too similar. And then I had this weird bridge that I don't know. I thought, maybe I just smoked too much pot or something. I don't know if this is cool or not, but it sounds cool in my ears.
Yeah, sometimes
right
you do something and you're like, I think this is cool, but I don't know if I just wrote it down and then somebody else hears it and they're like, no, Jacob, that doesn't make any sense. And they're like, oh, well, all right.
Well, I put this, this big pile of mess in front of them and they were like, actually, no, this is a great start. So we just kind of went in and fixed it up a little bit. So I'm actually doing a writer's round on Tuesday.
Where?
At Belcourt.
Oh, okay.
Taps.
I'm doing a round Tuesday night at Neighbors in Sylvan Park.
Oh, that's so close.
What time are you playing?
So far. I believe 8.
I think I'm on at like 9 or 9:30.
Dang. Well, if you're at 9:30, well, no. I'm supposed to stay and support the rest of the artists that are on the
Yeah, you got to do
round.
that. And I always try to. I don't want to be that guy that just gets there
Thanks,
2 minutes before my slot, playing like, all right, y'all have a good night. I'm out. Like right when I get done, because I don't like that. I like it when I'm playing to see the other.
Do you
acts
know?
and
I
other people
even
that are
feel
there.
bad when because I've been on the wagon for 2.5 weeks, which means that most of this 2.5 weeks I've been like, okay, I'm done with my gig. I've got to go home now. I cannot stay downtown. I have to
tough.
go.
It's tough.
Yeah.
Sometimes like when I've gone through phases in that too, where I'll drink a lot and then I'm drinking too much, so I'd be like, all right, I'm taking off for a few months or whatever, and then it really can be hard to figure out how to hang out
With a bunch of drunk people?
with people that are drunk and you're not. It's very difficult. But yeah, like
Yes.
I was I ate an edible sometime recently, and I've just recently in the last year or two been partaking, and at some point I was playing a show and I ate an edible before, and then I was talking to somebody in between sets or after the show or something, and I texted Chance, I think, and I said, man, it's getting high. It's great when you have to talk to people that you really don't want to talk to, because I can just kind of stand there and talk to them, but also be thinking in my head about 9 other things. Ooh, yeah. My eyes feel funny.
So, there are 2 things that I want to don't let me forget.
Okay.
I'll hit this really quick.
Cool.
You asked me what I'm doing. I'm also coaching vocals.
Oh yeah, very
and
cool.
mic control and
That's great.
Yeah, and I'm so excited about it. I'm having so much fun. And the best part about this is one of my students lives in Virginia, DC.
Cool.
And we FaceTime.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is amazing. I love
The
this.
future is here.
Yeah, I'm like, I want more students that are not in my home.
Right? No, yeah, for
This
sure.
is awesome. Because I can see them, I can see them breathing and,
Yeah.
everything that it's
You need is right there. Yeah.
yeah, it's
For
brilliant.
Sure.
And
There
they
you
just
go, people listening. If you need some vocal lessons or anything, you should contact Jennifer Friend.
yes.
Do you have a website or
I do.
social medias that they can go to?
Yeah, it's my website is jenfriendmusic.com. You can email me at jenfriendsocial@gmail.com.
Jenfriend Social.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's for all my social
put
media.
that.
I have different, I'm such a weirdo. I have different emails for different things. So Jenfriend Social is for
I've
all
heard
social
weirder
media.
things. Yeah. Jenfriend Social at Gmail?
At Gmail.
Cool. I'll put that in the show notes too. So cool.
Okay, so back on this other
other
note.
thing.
So a friend of mine sends me a text
Okay.
and says, something happened today. And he's a very straight-laced kind of, just really funny, really witty, but straight-laced. And And for all you people about my age, he's a square. So he sends me a text and starts telling me the story about he had gotten home from work. He worked the night shift. And he got home from work, and he was so excited that his roommate had made, I think it was Rice Krispie treats or something.
Yeah.
And he was so stoked and starving. You know, when you get out of work, especially working a night shift. Yeah.
Yeah.
And had never, ever, ever smoked weed. And like I mean, you know.
How many did he eat?
I don't know. I know at least 2. Maybe a whole container.
Oh, no.
Which would have made about 4.
Did he feel like he was dying?
Yes.
I bet.
He melted into the couch and couldn't move his limbs.
I can't stop thinking about all the things I've done wrong to people.
So as soon as I figured out what was happening, and he was freaking out so bad, I'm like, all right, dude, put on some cartoons. And he was like, he sent me a text.
Dr.
He was like, my roommate just got here. He put on, and I go, Futurama or something like that. He put on some cartoon. And I was like, okay, cool. Because my other advice was play a video game. Yeah. An easy one. Not like battle mode, but like the Lego video game. Do that one. Like play some video games, watch some cartoons, just, you know, let it be what it is. Ride the wave. In about an hour or 2, you're either going to be asleep or starving. So pick one and just run with it.
You're not going to die.
Yeah.
You may feel like it. Yeah. You're not going to die.
Yeah. I'm like, don't let your mind wander too far. Just let it focus in on something. So anyway, so his roommate got home and kind of like, you know, tucked him into a little burrito and brought him food and water because he was going to need some water.
Oh, yeah.
And he watched cartoons and then slept for 2 days.
That's the risk that you take, people. If you take part in too much weed, then you might sleep for a long time or laugh a lot or get really hungry. Yeah.
But whatever you do, just be prepared. If you text me about it, I'm going to be the asshole that starts sending you weird Snapchat filter photos. While you're stoned out of your gourd. Yeah. No. Seriously, I am the a-hole who did that. He was just like, and he was wigging out the whole time.
You can say asshole on the air. You don't have to feel bad about it. I've already said like fuck several times. I realized that last time I said, I was like, man, I've said that a lot today. Whatever.
Well, I actually tried to do better. Yeah. Sorry, Mom. But I've had this one thing, son of a bean dip and Mother Frito and honk his head. Those are like
interesting.
Those are my go-to on stage cuss words.
Do you feel better saying those things?
I do. I feel a lot better saying something goofy than, you know. Of course, when I drink, then all of a sudden I cuss like a sailor and I talk like a New Yorker. Yeah.
Well, you know, whatever.
To each their own.
Yep. What advice would you give a younger female that moved into town and just wants to be a singer like yourself almost 20 years ago? What I have learned and what got me through in 2010 was be a yes person. I don't mean like compromise your morals. I mean like just say yes to opportunities, you know. Sorry.
My mind kind of went there for a second.
I was like, I know some girls. I know some girls I wish were more of a yes person. Sorry, proceed. That was very heartfelt.
But yeah, like, you know, jump on some opportunities, and some things aren't going to pay and some things aren't going to pan out. But it's the opportunities and it's the experience and the networking and the people that you get to know, and, you know, just be a genuinely nice person. People love working with nice people. Mm-hmm. People are more apt to work with a genuinely nice person who plays okay rather than an asshole. Yeah. who you know is a diva and plays, you know, like incredible.
Yeah. I've talked about it several times. I'm going to bring it up again. I won't go too long into it, but there's a graphic artist named Neil Gaiman, I think is how you say his last name, and he did a commencement speech at a college, and it was great. It was like a 25-minute speech, but it was awesome. He was talking about creating art and creating good art and to go out and find something to work toward. But in that, one of my favorite things he said was, there are 3 things you should do as a creative person. You should do good work, you should be on time, and you should be a likable person, be a good person. And he said the good thing is you just have to do 2 of those 3 things. Said, you could do good work and be a likable person and never be on time, and you're fine. And he keeps going. You could do any 2 of those 3 things, and you're fine. So,
I had a part-time job. It was for this lady. I was an assistant. Okay, I'm a total nerd.
Okay.
I love filing. I love alphabetizing. I love business math.
I can appreciate that. I got a cabinet over here.
Hey, anytime you need me to put something in order, you just let me know. Let me know if you want it color coordinated or color coded, or you want it alphabetized, if it's in size. Oh yeah, I totally geek out about all of this. But this sweet little lady just really needed some help in the office, so I became her pretty much her life assistant.
Yeah.
I started cleaning and organizing her house, and from her office to her car to her house, whatever. I was on it. But this was a little part-time job that I had, and I would call customer service for as well, because I worked in customer service for a long time as well.
Yeah.
So I knew how to talk to customer support. So where was I going with this?
You were helping her.
Yeah. So I would file
life,
things like insane filing everything.
Yeah.
Now there was a reason. There was somewhere I was going with this a few minutes ago.
Oh, so
you
we were
said
talking
something
about the being on time.
Ha ha! Boom!
Gotcha. Yeah.
You're good at this. So she asked if she could hire me, and I told her, I was like, all right, here's how this is going to go down. I was like, I'm going to be real with you right now, and I'm going to tell you, I will work my ass off. I won't complain about having to work a lot of hours or not getting enough hours, because I'm trying to do this whole music thing.
Yeah.
I'm not going to complain about pay, because again, I'm trying to focus on this music thing. So you pay me whatever. You can pay me in dog-eat treats. I don't care. Don't be mean to me. And I'm cool. And I will consistently be 15 minutes late. So whatever time you want me to be here, tell me 15 minutes before that. Don't tell me that you're telling me.
Don't tell me that.
Just assume that I'm always going to be 15 minutes late, like clockwork.
So tell me that you really need me here at that time, even though you don't. But don't tell me that. Tell me that you're, yeah.
And I said, some days I will impress you and I will be here early. I lived 5 minutes from the office, but somehow managed to be 15 minutes late every day.
It happens. I play a weekly thing on Mondays at the Vanderbilt Marriott here in town, and it's like 4 to 8. And so most of the time I'm getting there like between 3:55 and 4 because they set the PA up and everything. So I just kind of have to walk in and plug in.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm later, but I make it a point to every now and then get there at like 3:30.
Yeah.
Be there well ahead of time and wave to the manager. Like, hey, how's it going? 3:45.
I'm here.
I'm ready to
Good
go.
to see you.
Yeah. Because inevitably there's going to be that time where I'm 17 minutes late or 20 minutes late. And I'm like, oh, yeah, traffic was hell. Yeah.
I'm not even going to lie to you. When it comes to my gigs, I'm a hell of a lot better being on time than I ever was. Trevor, if you're listening, I swear this is the truth. I'm a lot better now than I was working a full-time job.
Yeah.
Yeah, gigs are just something that I'm not usually late for.
Yeah, well, that's good.
I mean, granted, you have about a 10 to 15, sometimes 30-minute window of setup and sound check and all this.
In between bands, yeah.
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 But, within that, I think there's only been maybe once or twice that I was legitimately late. And they had to start without me, like one song, or they were whatever.
I have a very important question.
Sure.
Have you heard any good jokes lately?
I'm not a joke girl. No. I'm really bad at this. I can tell you funny stories and derail all day long on every other subject in between getting through that story.
It's all right.
But jokes, no. I will give you the punchline before the setup is complete. That is...
I heard a new one.
Okay, what you got?
If there's a red-haired man and he works at a bakery, does that make him a gingerbread man? And with that...
Yes!
Thank you, Jen, for coming in and talking. This was fantastic. We did almost 2 hours. It was like just over an hour and a half.
Oh, wow.
It was great.
Well, you're easy to talk to. Thank you for having me. This was fun.
It was my pleasure.
I was so nervous. So nervous.
You did fantastic.
Safe.
It was great.
Survived.
Thanks for listening, everybody.
Thank you.
You're fine. I turned the game down a little bit.
Okay, cool.
All the clothes I had, yeah, I'm gone. I can't handle this boy no more, no. So I cleaned out his wallet, took his keys and left my ring. I'm out the door, I'm going. Well, he may bring home the bacon, but he never brings home the love. He smells like dirty women, cigars and alcohol. Yeah, oh my God. Now I can't handle this shit no more. No. So I cleaned out his wallet, took his keys and left my ring. I'm out the door, I'm going. Oh, well, he's mean as hell and he don't give a damn about anything but himself. And no time to compromise. It's time for something else. Yeah. I'm gone. I can't handle this fool no more, no. So I cleaned out his wallet, took his keys and left my ring. I'm out the door. I'm going. You wanna like play anything? Oh yeah. I woke up this morning, stumbled out of bed. I packed up my suitcase with all the clothes I had. Yeah, my God, I can't handle this no more. So I cleaned out his wallet, took his keys and left my ring. I'm out the door, I'm going. So I cleaned out his wallet, took his keys and left my ring. I'm out the door, I'm going. One more time. So I cleaned out his wallet, took his keys and left my ring. Oh, I'm out that door, I'm gone.
Damn, girl. See what I mean, people? Good Lord, have mercy. I had to put that on there before I even said anything. Oh, and I'm sorry about the slight distortion on Jen's microphone there. That was my equipment's fault, not Jen's. She's magnificent. Thank you for listening, friends. Go check out don'tstifleme.com/062 for show notes on this episode. I'll put up some videos of Jen singing around town here and whatever else I can find, and our social medias and website and all that good stuff as usual. If you enjoyed this talk, please subscribe and share with anyone that you think might be interested. If you're an overachiever, you could go into the Apple Podcast app if you have an iPhone and leave a rating and a review if you'd like. What's that? What are more ways you can help out? Oh, well, if you're planning on buying something from Amazon, before you do that, you could jump over to don'tstifleme.com and click the Amazon banner there on the homepage, and that will direct you straight to Amazon.com, and you'll pay the same price that you would have anyway, but it'll send a very small commission. I don't know if very small, whatever. It's all relative. It'll send a commission to me for sending you their way. So you pay the same, and I get a little bit of a kickback. It's a win-win. You could also go over to patreon.com/DSM podcast. Over there for $1, $3, $5 a month, whatever. You get access to a special feed, which will show some behind-the-scenes pictures and videos, and from time to time I'll put some MP3 downloads up from some of the jams that we have here. I'm going to put that one up of Jen singing, absolutely. But yeah, so you can go check that out. There's more perks and things on the site for more money, and you're welcome to give me as much money as you would like. But every little bit helps keep the ship sailing, so even if it's $1 a month, that would be magnificent. Once again, that is patreon.com/DSM podcast or don'tstifleme.com for the Amazon shopping link. Okay, that's it. That's it for today, ladies and gentlemen. We are done here. I love you. Thank you for listening. I will, the podcast social medias are all at DSM Podcast, of course. Mine are all at Jacob Stifle. But more importantly than that, I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day and week. And, I'll talk to you very soon. I don't know what else to say. I love you. Roll Tide. I'll talk to you soon.